Stranger Things has a lot of obvious influences, including Alien, Spielberg and King, but I'd like to add a lesser known item onto the end of that list that might have influenced this series more than the rest combined. Let the Right One In is a Swedish vampire movie released in 2008, based off the 2005 book. There was also a quality American remake, a phrase I rarely get to say, in 2010, all set in the 80s.
Where are you from, exactly?
Bad place.
Sweden.
I have a lot of Swedish family.
She hates it there.
Cold.
While watching my new favourite show of 2016, I couldn't help but notice that their similarities stretched beyond a great soundtrack. In isolation, the shared features could be disregarded, but as a whole, I think there has to be a link. First, let's look at our leading ladies, 11, L for short, and Ely. Just one letter separates them. Both have supernatural powers, Elle with her spoon-bending mind abilities, and Ely with her vampy speed and strength. They also share a hobby in neck breaking. Both instinctively know that their friend is being bullied.
Vad har hänt? Här.
And both help out in the end. Elle by breaking an arm, and Ely by breaking an arm off. The girls save both boys from drowning. Elle and Ely are both inextractable from the villains. Elle warns Mike that she is the monster,
I'm the monster.
while Ely ominously intones that she isn't a girl.
Jag är ingen flicka.
And of course, both enjoy getting some sweet new threads. It's unrelated to the theme of this video, but I want to bring it up anyway. Elle has been a number her whole life. Wearing a dress is the first time she's getting to show any uniqueness. Innately, I think she knows there is more to being a girl, more to being a person than what she has had growing up. This is brought out by looking at Nancy's photos and things. Standard girl dress and wig might be humorously generic to the audience, but to Elle, it's the first time she's had any individuality. Next, let's look at the bullying arc. Both sets of bullies return for extreme vengeance after being humiliated by bladder squelching and DIY deafening. Oscar faces losing an eye while Dustin looks at a costly dental bill. Drowning is also on the menu, as I mentioned. Both generally follow the pattern of bullies being mean, victims fighting back, bully vengeance, and then ending with girl power.
Vad är det?
Ja, det kallas för halotan.
Nej.
Let's look at the malevolent protector theme. Both Elle and Ely have unconventional guardians. Hakan, Ely's guardian, provides cover and goes on after dark killing activities to get blood for Ely. Hakan's twisted motives for doing this are explored further in the book, and I recommend you check that out if you're interested. Papa's systematic abuse of Elle makes Lonnie look like Father of the Year. Needless to say, neither girl had quality father-daughter bonding time. Before moving on to visual motifs, I want to mention a few more things. Both have a skeptic that turns into a believer. In the remake, the skeptic is also a policeman, like Hopper. Will and Oscar live with their single mothers, though Oscar's dad beats out the objectively shitty Lonnie any day. Okay, there are two key visual similarities. The first is bloody hands. Early on, Lucas is satisfied with a saliva-enhanced shake, but later on we see Nancy and Jonathan slicing Pam.
I can stop talking.
I'm just saying, you don't have
3.
Just like Oscar offering to make a blood bond with Ely. Blood draws the monster in both. The next commonality is my favourite. The old bleeding from every orifice. Ely puts her life in Oscar's hands when she enters uninvited when he challenges her. Elle, on the other hand, makes everyone else get bloody when she unleashes a David Blaine blast in episode 8, foreshadowed by her bloody nose throughout the series. Remember not to tilt your head back, Elle. I've got two final points to cover before I wrap up. And that's also the end of the similarities for this video. I want to discuss the biggest divergence. At first glance, Let the Right One In has a seemingly happy ending, while the relationship of Mike and Elle has a sad one. Oscar and Ely ride off on a sunny train together, while Mike never gets to take Elle to the snowball. However, the reality stands in opposition to these moods. Oscar will grow old while Ely stays young. We don't get to see it, but I feel the story will go round in circles. Before long, Oscar will be relegated to Hakan's old role, supporting Ely in her killing of innocents as the relationship goes from idyllic to twisted. Ely's selfish love for Oscar will ruin his life, and she will eventually replace him with Oscar 2.0. But to be fair, she did try and warn him, and she's only 12.
Jag kan inte bli vän med dig. Bara så du vet.
Elle, on the other hand, has selfless love for Mike, and this compassion stretches to others due to her interaction with Mike's friends. She doesn't want the Demogorgon to keep killing. She's the monster. She doesn't want to keep killing. I like to think that Mike's love for her stopped her from relishing in becoming a monster that kills indiscriminately. All she had known from Papa and Co. is evil. Why shouldn't all humans die? Wouldn't she be doing the universe a favour? She was my favourite character, but a life without her is in Mike's best interest, and that's the greatest gift she could have given to him.
Goodbye, Mike.
I want to quickly highlight the differences between the two groups of bullies. Oscar's bullies strike dread from their first on-screen appearance. I feel the stranger bullies' early appearances are almost comic. Nothing really to lose much sleep over, and it's 2 versus 4. Meh. Strength and friendship. Oscar's alone from the start against a much larger and more malevolent force. The numbers thing is important. Oscar had no friends at all in the movie. Going from 0 friends to 1 special friend is infinitely more powerful than going from a tight group of 4 friends and adding 1 on. But I will concede that having those extra characters works better for a series. Plus, the Demogorgon supernatural dread sits well next to the lesser threat of the bullies. Even when Mike's being forced to jump off a cliff while his friend has a knife at his throat, the scene still doesn't have the impact of the pool scene from Let the Right One In my opinion. That's enough of me for one day. I hope you've enjoyed the video whether you agreed or not. I encourage you to seek out Let the Right One In if you haven't seen it. Whack any thoughts you have in them into the comments. Thanks for watching. Oh, and I almost forgot. The final, strongest piece of evidence for there being an inspirational link is that Oscar's real hair was actually used to make Elle's wig. Fact. Case closed.